I'd like to call to order the June 24th meeting of the Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board. Roll call.
Earbone.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Harmon.
Here.
Holman.
Here.
LaPointe.
Here. All right, hopefully everyone's 27th meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion. I'll second it.
Point. Harmon. Roll call.
Earbone.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
All right, if the staff could stand up to be sworn in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, thank you so much. All right, we will now move into our hearing agenda. Madam Clerk.
Agenda item 2025-33 is for planning and zoning. This is an appeal to case number 2025-2196, citation number 2025-5979, with a citation fine in the amount of $200 for the property located at 513 University Boulevard. Owner is Barry Cummings Enterprises, LLC. The respondent is Barry Cummings. And Officer Hetty is for the case, and Rachel Hurt will present in his place.
Thank you. James is on vacation, so you're stuck with me tonight. Sorry.
That's okay.
But we did first receive a complaint about this property back in July of 2024. There were various issues noted at that time. However, the focus this evening is for the most recent citation that was issued relating to the number of people residing on the property, as it is zoned single-family residential, which limits the occupancy, in this case, for residential treatment or transitional housing, to no more than 8 people. Brad, if you don't mind to jump to the next slide, it kind of outlines the timeline for this property. There was a notice of violation first issued in December of 2024. After that, there was a first citation issued in March of 2025. You'll see on the right-hand side a snippet from the website for the residential facility, and that is where they had outlined the number of residents within the home, which does exceed the maximum permitted by the zoning ordinance. However, I can say that since this was the PowerPoint was completed and the board packets were mailed out, when I checked the website today, that has been remedied and the site is now in compliance. So with that, I'll just note that this case has been open for 337 days. But in your board packet, the staff's recommended motion, now that we know that the property is in compliance, I believe would change from recommendation 1 to recommendation on motion number 2, if you all feel that that's appropriate. I'll keep this short, but be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Cummings is in the audience, Ryan.
Like to speak, sir? Let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. If you tell us your name and then,
Barry Cummings. I'm the owner.
so everything is in
As far as we know, yeah, everything is fine now. It's taken us a while to get through it because we didn't realize, honestly, that there were that many, that it was saying that there were that many people, so.
questions? I'll go ahead and make a motion to uphold the citation, but to waive the fine in the amount of $200.
Second.
Dearborn, LaPointe. Roll call.
Earbone.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thank you.
compliance, sir. Madam Clerk.
Agenda item 2025-34 is for animal protection. This is an appeal to a citation, case number 2025-4495. Citation number is 2025-6908.1 for the property located at 17 Kirby Drive. The respondent is Bonnie Watson. The citation fine is $180.54, and the officer, Catherine Collier, will present the case.
This case was a result of a dispatch call on May 20th of 2025 requesting that 2 dogs in the caller's backyard needed to be surrendered and transported to the Humane Society. The complainant was contacted while staff were en route to the call, and she stated they were not in fact her dogs, they were actually in her neighbor's backyard, but were tied up and tangled together. The caller was very upset and said she had placed food and water out for the dogs to reach, but they were outside in heavy rain with no shelter. So that first picture was the initial picture that I took. It's pretty blurry because I had to zoom in, so you can kind of hardly see the dogs next to the shed. The complainant was asked for the name and phone number of the neighbor who owned the dogs, and she provided information for Bonnie Watson. Miss Watson was contacted by phone and stated the dogs belonged to her son, who had been staying with her since the day prior, but he was taken to the hospital earlier that day and the dogs were left outside. I had requested that she meet me at the property to help untangle the dogs and bring them in, as they couldn't be left in their current condition. This was during that time where we were having all the severe storms. Miss Watson replied that the dogs were not allowed in the house. She was scared of the dogs and not willing to assist in untangling them, and requested that they be taken to the Humane Society. I informed Miss Watson that if I took the dogs to the Humane Society, they would be considered a surrender because the Humane Society doesn't board dogs at their facility, to which she replied that her son would not be willing to surrender them. So if you'll back up one picture, so this is kind of as you're walking up to the shed, and then you can see the food and water next to them where they actually couldn't reach. That was as far as they could go. If you zoom in, you can see that the dogs actually only have about a foot of space between them. The white dog actually doesn't even have a collar on. That tether is just around her neck. It's a wire tether. So it was tangled around the truck, the flagpole, and the shed, which is why they're so restrained to that area. And you can see the amount of mud that accumulated just in that short amount of time from the 2 dogs not being able to get away from each other or out of the way. So after multiple phone calls back and forth with Mrs. Watson, I gave her numerous options, like bringing the dogs in the house, untangling them, and providing them dog houses in different areas of the yard. Even having her friends, one of her son's friends, pick the dogs up, where she didn't necessarily feel comfortable handling them because they were in distress and it was starting to rain even harder. We were expecting some pretty extreme weather that evening, so the dogs needed to be brought somewhere safer. Ms. Watson said she had called the Humane Society and made arrangements for them to temporarily hold the dogs for 5 days while her son was in the hospital. However, she stated she was at work and could not respond to the property to untangle the dogs or transport them to the Humane Society. So due to the severity of the situation and the weather conditions, they were subjected to the refusal of the property owner to respond to the location. To bring it into compliance, a citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. The listed compliance date on the citation was May 30th of 2025, and the violations listed on the citation were improper confinement, tether and leash requirements, care of animals, neglect or abandonment, and care of animals adequate shelter.
Ms. Watson is in the audience as well.
Are you in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, if you'll tell us your name, and then you can.
Bonnie Watson.
All right.
You
Anything you would like to say, Ms. Watson?
tell my story?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My son called me about 5 o'clock the evening before and he said he was sick. Could he come over there and lay down? And I'm scared of his dogs, so he took him out back and tied one up to the pole, one up to the back of the truck, took water and food out there, come back in the house and laid down. He was real sick. Had to call the ambulance 7 o'clock the next morning, and they had to pack him out. He couldn't feel his hands or feet. And God, couldn't feel his hands or feet. I'm nervous. I can't think. Well, anyway, they took all of his toes off and fixing to take 2 fingers off. He's still in the hospital. And, it was 7 o'clock. Okay, the ambulance took him, and I took water out there, and I'm scared of them, but they was chained up, and I pushed water up there where they could get some water, and they did, got some water, and there was some food. I think the food had been eaten, and this woman that lives around the corner, Carolyn, she had saw this go down. She walks. She lives around the corner. She said, "I'll go get some food and bring it." Said, "You go on to work." So I went to work, and so at I think 10 o'clock, animal control called me, and woman said that they was in my driveway. They was going to sit there till I come home and put the dogs in the house. I said, "I can't put them in the house. I'm scared of them, and besides, I can't leave work." And then. And then they called me back in a little bit and said, "Can I come home and get the gray dog and put it in the van for them?" And I guess I made them mad because I said, "Aren't you animal control?" Because I thought that's their job, what they did, because I'm scared of it. So I didn't know what to do, so.
Added anything else? Oh, you're doing fine.
Have any questions for Ms.
Where are the dogs now?
With the Humane Society.
Humane Society did pick them up.
Yeah, so as of today, the dogs are still at the Humane Society. I haven't had any contact with the dog owner or Miss Watson, and when I drove by, there was, obviously the dogs are at the Humane Society, so there was no dog houses or tethers or anything out on the
Do
property.
you know when they got them? Pretty much that same day, or do you know?
So we had a discussion about the fact that if I brought the dogs to the Humane Society, they would be considered a surrender, because we typically don't do transports like that. I mean, they've been code red pretty frequently lately, and they don't have the space to board. I guess Miss Watson had reached out to somebody who agreed to hold the dogs for 5 days. So when she called me and told me she just couldn't bring them, I had let her know about the citation, and we did a courtesy transport to the Humane Society. The white dog was actually the one that was aggressive, so in one of the earlier conversations, before I knew that she was fearful of the dogs, had asked if she'd be able to at least assist with that dog, to not cause it more stress with catch pulls and such like that. But we did end up with 2 officers getting the dogs safely in the van into the Humane Society.
Dogs don't live there. Anyway, they're still at the Humane Society. And he still wants them, but I don't know how he'd even be able to take care of them, because when he gets out of the hospital, he'll be in a wheelchair.
Have you talked to him about that?
No, I've tried to talk to him. He don't need the dogs, but that's all that's on his mind's them dogs.
You not have any family or friends or neighbors that could take them for a little while?
I don't know if anybody can. The lady that went around the corner, she was gonna go get them the next day and bring them back to my house. I said, "Well, they're not allowed back to my house." And I said, "And I can't take care of them. I know animal shelter told me I could put them on the carport." But then animal control said that wasn't acceptable, so I don't know of anybody, But I don't know, I don't know when he'll get out of the hospital. Like I said, he's been there since then, took all his toes, and they're looking at taking 2 fingers, something about lupus. I don't know, I don't know what it is.
Curious. I saw the photos, but you're saying neglect and abandonment. I'm just curious on how it falls under that. I mean, it looks like the dogs did that. I don't think she tangled them up like that.
So the neglectful portion of it was not providing them any shelter and not being willing to, there's that shed I had even suggested, which isn't bringing the property into compliance, but it's better than the situation they were in, was to put them in the shed, and there was too much stuff, I guess, in the shed. So I had provided, as many options as I could to try to come up with a solution to get the dogs in a better situation.
This is after 1 day. We don't give a warning or anything, because I personally would not know. I mean, if I leave my dog outside, I wouldn't know that, if it gets tangled up, that I'm neglecting my dog, or, just because I don't have a dog house.
So, yeah, it was It was mostly due to the severity of the storms that we were getting that day and the fact that the one dog didn't have a collar on. So the tether was attached back to itself. And just, you can see in the one picture how deeply it's digging into the dog's neck. So that's kind of the neglect portion of that.
Is the backyard fenced in?
I believe a portion of it, there's a privacy fence portion and then a chain link portion in the driveway, but I'm not sure if the whole thing was fenced in. I can't recall.
Why were the dogs tied up like that? Did you do it, or
I'm
did
sure
your
that they
son?
wasn't too tight on the neck, because he wouldn't do that. He loves them dogs, he does. But, he had chained them up, and they were just supposed to be there that evening until the next day and him leave, but like I said, he ended up going to the hospital.
Well, when they get tied around like that, sometimes it grabs more at their neck than what he probably meant to.
I didn't think about that. I don't even know.
Yeah, it sounds like it was.
Conversation or questions?
I'll make a motion to uphold the citation but waive the fine in the amount of $180.54.
I'll second that.
Point, Harmon, roll call.
Earbone. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes. All right, so that means the citation stands, the fine is waived, so now it'll be working with the Humane Society, figuring out what's gonna happen with the dogs.
Okay. But it's waived?
Yes, ma'am.
It is?
Yeah, so
So
no
what will
fine.
happen, so he asks me all the time, and I keep telling him they're okay, because I didn't know what to tell him, because I didn't know if he'd be allowed to have them back.
That's a conversation that you all have to have with the Humane Society and figure out where the dogs may be able to go if they can't be with him.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Agenda item 2025-35 is for Public Works. This is an appeal to a citation for case number 2025-4335, citation number 2025-6674.1 in the amount of $500 for the property located at 319 Hillview Mills Boulevard, Lot 93. The owner is LMFB Properties LLC. Respondent is Paul Weary, and Officer Dara Price will present the case.
This case was the result of a routine inspection conducted on 8/14/24. During the inspection, the following violations were observed. Improper construction entrance. The roadway had mud that needed to be cleared due to motorist
Mayor,
safety.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Chairman, there's no respondent for this in the audience, to my knowledge, so it doesn't need to be presented to the board as long as Mr. Broderick were to agree to that.
Stands as written. But they
Job.
did appeal?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, Madam Clerk?
Agenda item 2025-36 is for Public Works. This is an appeal to citation, case number 2025-4336. Citation number is 2025-6676 for a citation amount of $500 for the property located at 319 Hillview Mills Boulevard, Lot 94. The owner is LMFB Properties LLC. Respondent Paul Weary, Officer Dara Price, and again, no respondent is present.
Same token, so stand is read. All right. We have no old business, so moving into new business, Madam Clerk.
Agenda item 2025-38 is for Public Works. This is a staff action. This case was heard last month requesting a per-day fine citation. This is a case number correction to that case that was heard last month. The correct case number is 2025-0405 for the property located at 5402 Baker Springs Street. The owner is Three Bros LLC, and Officer Dara Price is the officer for the case.
This property was brought before the board at the May 2025 hearing for a request for authorization to issue per-day fines. The board approved per-day fines for the property unanimously. After the hearing, it was discovered that the case number provided to the board was incorrect. The case number on the agenda, summary, and presentation was listed as 2025-0931, which was the case number for the stop work order case at this location. The correct case number for which there have been multiple inspections, citations, and staff request authorization for per-day fine is 2025-0405. That case remains open, and the property remains in violation, and the staff is requesting authorization under the correct case number with all other factors being the same. And this is the current photo from today.
Out of compliance. All right. Well, any discussion? All right, if not, I'll make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days or until in compliance.
Second.
Dearbone, Lapointe, roll call.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes,
Lapointe.
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
Agenda item 2025-39 is for code compliance. This is also a staff action to waive the citation and fine for case number 2025-5636 for the property located at 744 Pearl Street. The owner is Faith Tabernacle Church, and the officer is Will Ming.
This case was a result of a proactive inspection on May 15, 2025. During the initial inspection, the following violations were observed: overgrown grass. A courtesy notice was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a 5-day compliance period. On 5/21, the property was inspected and remained in violation. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner, address on that date with a compliance inspection date listed at 5/27/25. On 5/23, the pastor of the church called and asked for an extension to have the grass mowed. We agreed on an extension of June 2nd, 2025, at which the property would be cited and mowed by the city contractor if not in compliance. Due to a clerical error on behalf of the code official, due to high caseload, a corrective action was not put in the case with this information. As a result, the property was inadvertently inspected again on 5/28/25, at which time it remained in violation and a citation was issued and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. A work order was also sent to the city contractor for a double mow due to the height of the grass. The property was mowed by the city contractor, and the case was closed June 2nd, 2025. After the citation had been issued, the property was mowed, a clerical error was discovered. The property owner was contacted, notifying them the citation and the work order fee would be brought to the board with a request to waive the fee and fine due to the staff error. And this case has been open for 19 days, and this is a picture of it as of today. With it in violation again.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to waive the citation fine and work order in the amount of $535.54.
second.
Dearbone and Holman. Roll call.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes,
Lapointe.
Going to go ahead and go into closed session. All right.
Yes.
That's pending litigation.
All right, so we need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
second.
Harmon and Holman. Roll call.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Holman,
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
token of our appreciation,
gifts.
to give you a parting gift, sure, that Pam will present you with. But I guess the best thing that I kind of want to do, because, you know, we could say thanks all night long, but I know, Ryan, especially in 12 years of service, that you have seen some stuff
Yes.
on this board. I remember late nights at 9 p.m. sitting here for some appeals in the neighborhood on Harmony Way, and some Don Minton things, and some Terry Caffey things, and landlords who aren't even alive anymore. So what I was going to ask from both of you is if you have just one story, maybe the craziest thing you can think of that you've heard in the time of either being on the board or even being city attorney, that you can think of that you'd like to share, you know, with everybody.
Of course, most of mine were pre-this. 'Cause I, you know, get a lot of cold work, long before I came on board. Harmony Way probably leads the list. I still drive by there sometimes just for nostalgia, just to look at it. I do have a Kelly Thompson story, but I won't tell it because it'll probably sue me for slander. But let me say, we've been on this horse before with Mr. Thompson, Judge Thompson, whatever you want to call him. We've had similar things before. I guess the first one I remember is Cedar Ridge.
Susan Dallas.
We had an issue when
I grew up in that.
in that neighborhood.
She lived across the street from me.
Yeah. But you know, most of mine will come, you know, long before this. But you're right. Probably Harmony Way leads. Was it 300 police calls or something there?
Back and forth, the harassment and the cameras and, yeah.
One neighbor had a fake camera put up in the tree.
And then
All heads. Yeah.
she put the mannequin head up.
Yeah.
Remember the mannequin head?
Yeah, the
So that it was
mannequin head,
facing
yeah.
back?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still think the whole,
Which one?
Yeah, the holy water.
she sprinkled holy water
Oh,
around the
oh,
voting
yeah,
booth
yeah.
board.
Our vehicles that morning. In our parking lot at NCS.
Spirits away.
And don't forget, she was
I don't know that we
in
should
psychiatry,
say
right?
in open session.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got to say that one by far is the one I'll take with me to the grave, because that I mean, you don't write anything better than that one. I mean, that one had all the. I mean, I think somebody could turn that into a pretty interesting TV show or movie, just the way that one played out. So yeah, that one's got to be it. But there's been some close seconds and thirds, but you know, no, that was probably the most interesting one. And you know, out of 12 years, that was kind of early on in my tenure in this. So yeah, that was definitely it. But no, I think yeah, that was it. But no, just seriously, thank you all for the past 12 years working with you all. You know, the ones who've come on. Some of you I've worked with David since the beginning. And I'll say this and I'll shut up. It's weird being that when I first got on here, it was Randy Deere and Delane Simpson, Jack Thomas, and the late Jerry Wilder. So I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to, I'm like, these older gentlemen who know their stuff, how am I going to sit up here with them and have anything worth saying, know anything? But it's been cool to kind of transition. And so now I'm excited to see what you all do with code, and you know, you all the officers, you guys do amazing work. I'm glad that they can tell you what to do, Brad, because you need a little help sometimes. But past that, no, everybody has done amazing. And you guys are absolutely outstanding, the work you guys do. So I'm proud to have been part of this for the past 12 years, and I'll be rooting you on. And hopefully you guys don't have to cite me for anything. I'm going to make sure I keep my lawn and everything else I have good, because I don't want to see you guys on the other side of this. So that's all I got.
This is, as the mayor says all the time during appointments, not an easy board to be on, and it's not easy decisions to make in a lot of cases. So you guys have been fantastic to work with, and we just thank you for your service. So Pam has these to present you with real quick. I don't know, Brent, do you want to say something real quick?
Apologies. I'm trying to care of two things.
That's where you in?
Oh, sure. It's fine with me.
He told me to do it, so.
I'm going to talk about Gene, so now I got to be honest about Gene, right?
So do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All
I
right.
First time.
Apologies. I thought the meeting would run a little longer. I was trying to catch a baseball game and then get back. So, but I want to thank Ryan and Gene for your service on behalf of the city. You've both become friends. Gene and I worked together for a number of years before he retired and now came back, and I just want to thank you for everything. As Brad was saying, this is a tough board. I've been with the city for 15 years now, and this is one of those that you've got to make hard decisions. You're going to make difficult decisions, and I appreciate both of you taking that discernment, thinking through the impacts, but also looking at what is the best thing for the community. And each of you have done that on multiple occasions in different roles outside of this board, through your service, through your work, through your volunteerism, and just making sure that we continue to make Bowling Green the best place to live, work, and play. And that's what we're all working for, right? That's what we're all desired to be, is to make Bowling Green the best. And I appreciate you because you both lived up to that in several different occasions, on several different opportunities. And I consider you both friends, and I thank you both for everything. So with that, we do have something to recognize you with. Ryan, for your years of service, and Gene, for your years of service. 3 years for Gene and 12 years for Ryan. So congratulations to you both. 12 years, that's a long run.
That is not a get out of code free card, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You're still,
I'm gonna use this like the mannequin head, so if y'all come near me to my house, this will ward you off. Are there any other announcements or comments? All right, you all have a meeting next month. Me and Gene don't, so we'll be watching you. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. If anybody wants to make it.
I'll move.
Motion.
Armin and LaPointe, roll call.
Beerbone,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Holman, Lapointe.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned.